Sloss and Humphries on the road.
Muggins and cream and muggins, straight thuggin', living the dream.
That's our intro.
Fucking muggles.
Tickling the clit inside your head to me.
And here we go again, a public episode of Sloss and Humphries on the road with substitute teacher Mark Nelson.
That's actually even more offensive than the replacement bus service.
Substitute teacher. I found that picture of us. If anyone checks on my Instagram, I think. Did I put it on the story?
I think it was on a story, yeah.
Oh no, it was on the post. It was on the Sloss and Humphries Instagram on an actual post.
Right.
Me and you did a photo shoot for individual Fringe shows with Marty Lynn, car photography show.
Yeah.
Where we got some photos done. I think it wasn't the photo shoot with the photo that constantly haunts me. Have you seen that photo where I've got bleached blonde hair and I'm wide-eyed leaning into the camera as if like as if I'm just like sat too close to the telly. Because that photo just still, right? 2010 I took it, used it for one Fringe show.
I know exactly what one you mean now. I just remembered it, yeah.
Straightened bleached blonde hair.
Yes.
Like Cloud of Final Fantasy.
Yes.
Right? That photo I took, used for one Fringe show, and it still to this day comes up. And when promoters just do their own like Googling and
it's amazing.
Right clicking and using pictures. And every time it comes up, I'm like, what made you pick that photo?
Aye. And also, I'm assuming if they have just done a basic Google to find the photo, they'll have had to scroll down because that's not like one of the top one that comes up. So why have they scrolled past all the other completely acceptable photos?
It's probably still on the agent's website. She's probably still leading with that one. No, I don't know. Like, maybe it's because it was one of the first ones that I used as a professional headshot.
Yeah.
That like it comes up on a lot more hits because they've had more views over the years. They've accumulated more views.
Possibly, aye.
Maybe it's like if one person saves it, that puts it in the algorithm for somebody else to save it.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer, but that photo fucking haunts me.
Yeah.
And I know I've not seen the last of it. It'll come back up.
Aye.
But it wasn't that photo shoot, it was one after. You were wearing a suit.
I wore a suit,
and I was wearing a jeans and like a kind of fucking trendy t-shirt with like skull and crossbone blue.
A baseball cap.
And a baseball cap, a trucker hat before I realised that I can't wear hats. which become a routine from asking the audience a genuine question, you know that? Mm-hmm. Jimmy McGee, it was 2014, I was wearing a baseball cap in Australia. And Jimmy was like, you've got to stop wearing hats, man. You look like you're dying. I look like I'm fucking taking you for your fucking last respite, last trip to Australia. I was like, fucking make a wish.
So you started asking audiences that.
So I wasn't having it because I wore hats all the fucking time. Yeah. I wore beanies, I wore baseball caps. I just fucking wore hats. I like wearing hats. I felt good in them. And then I never wore them on stage. And then I just said, can you just settle a dispute for us? My mate says I look like I'm dying when I wear a hat. And I put the hat on. And they fucking died laughing. Yeah. And I was like, wait, fuck off. No, I've got to do this at the start of every single show.
Yeah.
Like, so that's...
Because it's now a bit, yeah. So it's like, yeah.
It's now, like, if you get a laugh that hard on stage, it stays.
Yeah, oh God, yeah.
It stays, and I've stayed for years. Yeah. I've only stopped doing it since I've come
That's why I always get my cock out at the start.
I had a black eye from the comics boxing,
right?
And I knew I had to have a fucking joke about it, right? Because you can't just go on stage with a black eye and not mention it. And I went on and I just went, I wish I had a cool story about my black eye. I've never opened Prosecco before. And it was the quickest. It's the quickest I've ever been off the blocks from grabbing the mic to getting a laugh. Yeah, it's been my quickest route to the joke, and that opener lasted 2 gigs. 3 gigs before my black eye was gone.
That is gutted.
I think because I just wanted I wanted to get hit. I'm starting fights so I can get my opener back. Did Barry Casnola fucking bought a?
I was just gonna mention Barry's opening bit. Yeah,
that one came by accident. I think he'd tumble dried his sweater and then just took it straight to the tumble dryer and into his bag, right? And then he puts it on and it's fucking tiny. And he walks on stage and just went, guess who's just bought a new tumble dryer? And then throws his hands up in the air. His belly just pops out of his top.
Wow.
Straight off the blocks, quickest route to the opening gag.
It's a great opening joke
I've ever seen in stand up.
That's brilliant.
That's the quickest I'll ever see anybody get to their first punchline.
Yeah.
Right? Cunt fucking left his jumper at home one day Barry Castellano left his jump at home, and you know how disarming it is if you lose. Your opening gag's gone.
Yeah.
Right? You fucking, your quickest route to your opening gag, you want your big laugh, is gone. Let's your Arsenal, right? And he went, fuck it, I'm going to go and buy a jumper that's too small. And he went around the shops and he just couldn't find one quite small enough. And went to Baby Gap. Gap Kids. He went to Gap Kids. And he bought a school jumper from Gap Kids. so that he could can on. Guess who bought new jumper?
Oh my god! So Barry, I realise I've never actually asked him that. Has Barry got is it one jumper
Well, you know,
that he's always had?
It was the one jumper that I actually put in the tumble dryer. That was the nexus of the joke. Nexus, is that the right word? Starting point.
Aye.
And I think it's developed from there that he just wears child's jumpers now. Because he was in stitches.
Oh, that's amazing.
He was in stitches. We're both giggling to go, and he went, yeah. Just shuffled up and went, read the label of me jumper.
Oh, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant.
So on the photo shoot, you're wearing a suit and I'm wearing my trucker hat and me jeans and all that. And for some reason, we stood back to back with. Like,
I think it was Martin said to us, like, cause that, like, I've really liked the folk that take photos for Edinburgh, but it's one of the most stressful times doing that photo stuff because I hate having my photo taken and I hate being asked to do. Because in yourself, you don't realise that you look boring most of the time, so you can't just do. So they're always like, just do something wacky. Hold this.
Is that what you want to do with
this.
your face?
Yeah, do this. And there's always that fucking like going really, really close.
There was
like,
a real spell where every Edinburgh comedian was scratching the back of their head.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody's got a scratch in the back of their head photo.
Or looking up quizzically at something like.
Oh yeah, looking at the gods.
Yeah, and I think that was that day. Martin just said to us, like, let's muck about and do a couple. And he put us back to back. And we looked like a fucking cop show that lasted one series. And
straight to VHS movie.
Yeah.
Like, so back to back. I've had that photo for fucking years, but with no reason to pedal it out. And I pedalled it out for the launch of
it
you
works.
joining the podcast.
It does work.
But you weren't supply teacher in the court. It was real teacher, supply teacher.
Yeah.
I sometimes swear and let you call me by my first name. You bollock people for lateness.
I'm up on a sexual harassment charge.
You bust a kid's nose. So them photo shoots, right? I'd done one just before the pandemic. In fact, you know what? The pandemic was kicking in because I remember being nervous of public transport when I went for the photo shoot, and I walked quite a long distance across London to get to this photo shoot. And what I wanted to do about my show, right, for my 2020 show, was I wanted to do it about hobbies at the time. I'd getting bang into me knitting. I'd been doing quite a lot of Muay Thai, and I just wanted to like start like just looking at what people like, do a little bit of crowd interaction, find out what people's hobbies are, write little bits of material about each hobby, and try and have like just a wealth of material about like what people do for recreation. And I was gonna call the show Knit Our Boxer Glory.
Nice.
Right? So I was fucking engineering it, run the title.
That's
more than
brilliant.
anything else,
Yeah.
right? And I went with my boxing gloves and my knitwear to this photo shoot, and I look back through them photos with so much cringe as I'm there with like the ball of wool and a boxing glove while I'm knitting with it. I used the big green jumper that Dan knitted us.
Yeah.
I was going to tell the story of like our toxic masculinity, like creating something special and like helping reignite a dying art and all that shit, right? And like I was going to tell that story. So I'm wearing the jumper that he made me in the competition. I've got the ball of wool, and it just looked like I'm going, look how much depth I have. Look at all of my many layers.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a comedian who knits and boxes.
Yeah,
I just fucking, it just feels yuck. And I never did write the show, and I never did use the photos. I used one of the photos on my Twitch stream. So the photos out there, and that will haunt me in years to come.
There was a couple of years, I didn't even realise it had happened because it was different photographers as well. But I'd been sitting on different types of chairs and sitting in a different way. So there was like one where I was like kind of sitting back like that as if I was like, I just fucking got it was like Game of Thrones, just kind of sitting that like a lord. And then there was another one where I was just kind of sitting down like that with my hands like that, looking really cheeky.
Cheeky little monkey.
And then there's one, oh fucking hell, there's one where for some reason they've used it, it's almost like a kitchen chair, and I've spun it, right? So I've put my legs either side of the back of it. But it looks like I'm trying to seduce someone.
Like you're trying to be mates with the inmate.
Yes.
You know, you give him a cigarette. You give the inmate a cigarette and you turn the chair around.
Yeah.
You side straddle it.
But it's got a proper Basic Instinct kind of vibe about it. Like it looks weird.
And you're funny. So we're at the stage now of the Fringe where agents are getting their job starts today for the Fringe. They want to get like everybody's venue sorted. They want to get everyone's listing sorted. They want to get tickets on early pre-sale. So like their job starts now for the Fringe. And our job doesn't start until we'll start writing the material.
The night
now.
before.
The night before, aye. And we are proper homework on the bus comics.
Yeah.
We really sneer at the comics it's February, the comics who have already done previews.
Yeah.
London comics mostly.
London comics, yeah.
We sneer at them, but you're like, part of your guns, I fucking wish I had that in us, because I still put up a show that competes with theirs.
Yeah.
I'll still go on and put a show on that like I'll get the same fucking critical acclaim that theirs does, and they start in January. What could I achieve if I started in January? Like, there's a part of us that I wish I was a fucking better worker. To see what the...
See, that's the thing, right? Because I've gone through the same stuff in my head. And it is absolutely the only reason I slag off folk like Elliot and Tom is through my own failings. Like, because in my head I'm going, you're not working as hard as them. Aye. So rather than have a word with yourself, just fucking attack and slag them.
Attack their work ethic.
Yeah. So I fully...
Bring them down.
Hands up, fully admit that.
It's toxic.
Yeah, it is. It's massively toxic. And it's no good for yourself either. But then, like you say, we leave it, and then we come to those first previews, and we're shitting each other going, this is nothing.
One preview when we Punch Drunk show.
It's insane.
One preview, what the fuck was I playing at?
But then I've done the same where I go, if I worked as hard as them, and if I did this earlier, I mean, would I have a show that would win an award? Would I have I
have such heightened expectations of how hard I work that just getting me a 4-star average would fucking hurt my feelings?
Yeah,
like,
I don't think I would, because
you would look at when you see a 4-star, you're buzzing about that. You're like, you fucking just achieved like a above average mark.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy with a B. I'm buzzed with a B.
But I don't think if I had that pressure, I would be able to, because I have tried some years to start really, really early, and I'm getting nothing because there's no jeopardy involved in it.
Aye.
I don't have to do it because I know in my mind's almost like my subconscious is going, you've got ages for this, so it doesn't matter if this entire week everything you write is dog shit. Whereas if it's in 3 weeks, fucking hell, this better be gold that you're putting down in every page, because the pressure's on.
Yeah, you don't try out the ideas. You know, you refine the writing process a lot harder when you know there's one chance I've got to take it. I've got to get this right first time. The gun to the head method has always worked for me. But fuck man, I'd love to.
The stress isn't. The stress is horrible.
I'd love to already have a show in my back pocket now, and I've got a day's tweak between now and August.
See, the problem I have as well is I always get like self-conscious and stuff that the comics that are doing shows in February and stuff like that are already their show, whereas I've got to see some of them, and it is literally people with reams and reams of paper, not in any order, picking one up and going, so I was thinking, like, you know how the petrol caps are at different sides of your car, and sometimes you get really confused about which side and you try and put it in the wrong one and it's not a hole there. I thought that might be quite a funny concept. No, okay. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's literally the most shitty...
That shouldn't have got past your mate.
Bizarre. Yeah, exactly. Whereas I panic like fuck if I do a show and it's not almost there. So I make sure that my show is pretty much there anyway before a preview.
Yeah, and I think we're very lucky that we're surrounded by a good filtration like each other. I can always put my gags through you, through Daniel, through Gareth, through Ryan. Like I can always put them through you guys, and like whatever comes out the other side of you guys and then goes on stage, and it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Because like I've already getting it pat tested by my mates.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I guess if you're just there on your own and you're using your own filter, we've all seem to have good filters anyway.
Yeah.
But I guess it's a different journey for other comics.
Yeah.
Maybe
I mean, there will be some people, like, I don't know, like, I imagine it's fairly true, but like the year Phil Nichol won the main award, like, he wrote that on the train on the way up. Like, it is literally last minute.
Wow.
I need to write something. And then,
as well, the panic of that. He must have fucking went through hell. That's tortured artist shit, that. Like, if you're going up and writing your Fringe show on the train to Edinburgh, like, that's made from a different place, isn't it?
Yeah.
Than the calculated place of the person who waits 7 years before the first show because they want to be nominated for the newcomer award.
Yeah, so they've got
like,
7 years worth of gold.
That calculated measure is going to take dull a lot of the shine off the rawness of your
a lot of the enjoyment out of it as well. But because I don't like, I've spoken to Fred Macaulay about this quite a bit, and he was talking about, like, because there's so much money involved now, and because it is so corporate and stuff, comedy. When people go that first night of the Fringe, that first week when you might get press people in and all that kind of stuff, you need to hit the ground running. Like, those ones that are classed as previews aren't really previews; they're the first nights. Yeah. So you need to hit the ground running. Whereas,
I always want to be off notes for them.
Yes,
you know how
absolutely.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is a preview, or whatever the fuck. You're like, I'm not taking notes on.
Yeah.
I'm going on and I've remembered me shit at that point.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a preview.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But the way it used to be, when he was telling me, was Edinburgh used to be a lot more experimental and a lot more fun, in my opinion, because you would go up and you'd have an idea of a show and you would do it, and then you'd polish it because you're doing it every single night. And by the end of the Fringe, you would have a cracking show which you would then take on tour. And the audiences enjoyed it because they saw the evolution of that show.
And it would give them a show they could come back to again.
Exactly.
They could come at the beginning, they could come at the end.
Yeah,
and
everything was so much more relaxed, but now it needs to be hit the ground running straight away.
Yeah. There's so much, like, people are wanting to catch a break and get spotted and be seen and get good reviews and all that. Like, I've never tried to. I've always tried to, like, switch off a little bit to all of that noise.
Yeah,
and just think first and foremost that people who've bought tickets.
Exactly.
The people who've come in and got a ticket, give them a good product. And if anything like that happens around it, if someone happens to be in that night and something comes of it, like, and I've had, like, little breaks, like Mary Tobin being in one year, and then I ended up going to Australia for a good run. And there has been things like that have come off the back of it. But I've never went in with the thing of, like, here's my vision board. I want to be seen by somebody that books in Australia. I want to be. So, like, as much as it is a good byproduct of the Fringe, is these things coming off it. I've never had that as my focus.
No, and that's not to say I don't have that either. But that's not to say what the other people that do have a 5-year plan or a 30-day plan. This needs to be done this day. This needs to be done this day. I need to have achieved this by then.
And you actually see it working for people.
Yeah, if it works for you,
people
great.
That have got good PR campaigns, and they end up in, like, a lot of lists, and they end up in a lot of, like, joke of the Fringes, and like, a lot of people will end up with all of this, like, heat that starts gathering around them by the end of it, and by the end they've, like, got fucking opportunities in abundance.
Yeah,
and that comes because they've planned a route through the Fringe.
Yeah,
and I'm never going to get that by just bumbling through caring for the audience.
No,
I'm never going to get that same.
No, like, and that's why neither one of them is right. It just depends what kind of person you are. Because, like, I had a comic a couple of years ago I know quite well, talking about how they were having, like, the judges were coming in and a certain reviewer was coming in and they were going, and I've been thinking, I don't think they'd like this joke, so I'm thinking of dropping this joke and putting it, and I was like that, well, now you're showing utter disrespect for the people that are actually paying you to be there. You're changing the entire show to suit 4 people that aren't giving you any money for a ticket, that are getting a free into you on the off chance that they might prefer this bit because you've second guessed what they're looking for. So don't listen to the crowds you've had already that love and laugh at that bit. You're going to drop that because you think the other ones might not like that.
Exactly, and it can totally throw you. Like, you know, if you were like, oh, you're gonna have American agents are coming in to see it tonight, and then you're like, oh, I've got a fucking 15-minute bit about Richard and Judy. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna get picked up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to bring in some old stuff from a new show that completely fucks up the structure of it.
Yeah.
You're like, you have to just fucking.
Yeah.
You have to just go in there and just do your show and see what happens.
Aye.
I think. I don't, like you say, there's no right answer or wrong answer. Oh, there's probably wrong answers. Like,
I mean,
there's probably wrong answers. That guy that made a massive minge that squirted. That squirted. Had a Pete Jonas.
Yeah, I think that was his name. Yeah.
He had a show called Dark Side of the Poon.
Yeah.
And comics would go to watch it every day.
Yeah.
There would always be comics in the crowd just watching this. I never saw the show, but apparently it was quite misogynistic. And then he wheeled out this giant vagina that he made at home in his garage. It squirted water all over people that were walking by as his promo. And then he got a 0-star review.
Yeah, 0-star, yeah.
From Julia Chamberlain, who's a good friend of ours.
Yeah, and I think she actually said, like, if she could give minus scores, she would have. Because
and then he wrote a rebuttal blog to her saying she should try anal shotgun suicide. That's the wrong way to do the Fringe.
Yeah.
Like, if I was to say there isn't a wrong way to do it, I'm like, there is.
Yeah. There's certain points, like I think there's a lot of things that people have done where you have to look, like, because there's always a moment, a self-reflective moment in everybody's life every day where you're brushing your teeth or you're wiping your face at night or you're doing your hair in the morning, where you're looking and it's just you looking at yourself in the mirror, right? And that's where you go, what the fuck? Like, we both know there's been times on nights out, or like there's been times where I've been like, I've drunk until like 7 a.m, knowing that I've got an hour's sleep before I need to get a train, and I've woken up at like 7:45 and gone, I'm going to have another beer, a warm beer, just to level myself out so I can manage to make this train. And when you're doing that, you look at yourself and go, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, what are you playing at?
What was the one you done where you woke up, you'd been on the train, you woke up and you were like, fuck me, stop, and jumped off the stop, and the train left, and you looked over your shoulder and saw the sign for Oxenholme.
Oxenholme, yeah. In the middle of the Yorkshire Dales, yeah.
You're just having a pint in Oxenholme on your own, miles from home.
It wasn't even...
Explaining to your family why you're not coming back the night.
It wasn't even a pint, because the next train wasn't for 2 hours. It wasn't even a pint. I had to go to a village shop to get cans of Stella, and I just sat at the train station, and that was... But that's...
I had to get a bag of cans.
Yeah.
No, there was no other option than getting a bag of cans.
It was only cans.
I couldn't have just went and had a bite to eat.
Yeah.
I had to go and get fucked.
Now, that moment, yes, is where you go, what the fuck have I done wrong? That, sitting in a station in Oxenholme, knowing that I've let my family down and that I've let myself down and still drinking a can of, that is nothing compared to sitting in your garage and making a massive vagina so that it can squirt water at an audience. Like, nothing. That's the lowest point of your life, when you're putting that much effort into a massive minge.
I am cringing about a photo of me where with some knitwear on and some boxing gloves, trying to show my range, and and that makes us go,
and he's got a chisel out.
See, how big am I going to make the clip? Exaggerated? Is it an exaggerated clip, or is it a proportional clip? What we're going to do? Right, I'm going to need a penny floater. I'm going to need a penny floater. Right, off to the shops. So I'm pretty good at them moments that creep up on you out of nowhere and going, yeah, I remember when you did this. You know, if a moment comes up, remember when you fucking made an absolute mug yourself with it. I did a real good job of laughing at it like it was somebody else and not me.
Yeah.
I didn't take any of it to heart. I didn't ruminate on it. I don't grab hold of that memory, stick to it, let us keep it up at night, and then feel the need to fucking text that person and apologise 7 years later.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I never ever like them seeds, they plant themselves in my brain all the fucking time.
Aye.
I've never once watered one of them.
Aye.
I've got a good job. I just can't. What a dick.
Yeah.
What an absolute dickhead. You know them people that are laughing at you. Good, they should laugh at you.
Yeah.
You're a dick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let them laugh.
Yeah.
You can't take that laugh away from them or try to undo it.
It's like that, the Jim Jeffries line where he talks about how he doesn't trust people that don't drink. And he's like, because...
pregnant women,
they've got
never trust a pregnant woman. Really.
They've got no stories. He's like, do you know every person that doesn't drink, do you know how their story ends? And then I went home.
Then I went to bed. I really felt I was at a wedding in December, and there was a couple of our mates who were pregnant at the wedding, and I really felt for them because they were just watching everyone just getting wedding drunk.
Yeah,
and also like I woke up and I was just like, oh, things I did will actually be remembered.
Yeah,
there was witnesses.
Exactly. Yeah,
you never feel like there was witnesses when everybody's drunk.
No.
But it's almost like Big Brother's watching when there's sober people there.
Yeah. That's very true, aye.
And I tell you what's creepy as fuck. Sober people pulling on nights out.
God, yeah.
If you're sober and you pull on a night out, you need to look in the mirror like...
Aye. You've got proper problems, don't you? If
you haven't broke any laws. You pulled someone out, it's just really calculated.
God, that's a really good point.
It's just super calculated out. Yeah. Look, if you're sober and you pull on a night out, like, that's not where you should be pulling. You should be pulling on a level playing field. And when you talk about grey areas, right, there isn't a grey area, but if you feel like it's a grey area, turn round, you're in the wrong place.
Yeah.
If ever there's a point where you go, well, that's a grey area, isn't it? It's a grey area being sober on a night out and then pulling someone and all that. That's a bit of a grey area, isn't it? You're like, if you feel like the area's grey, back away from the area completely and be just in case the area, just in case the climate changes and the line in the sand changes. It's got to change within the grey area. I can guarantee
just
you
in
that.
Case it suddenly drifts from grey to very black. Like,
Black and white.
Yeah. So what about two sober people pulling
on a night out?
What's that?
If you're on a night out and you're just like, oh, I'm driving the night. We're fucking
so am I.
and you're like, oh, me and Al, you're like, oh, class. Let's go out for a drink sometime.
I don't think that's creepier. Two sober people pulling. That makes me feel even more sick, to be honest.
It seems incestuous. It seems weirdly incestuous.
Yeah, it doesn't sit right with me.
They're all drunk, they won't even notice. She will sneak off and have a sober kiss on the sticky dance floor. Just go home, you fucks.
I know.
For you. This place isn't for you.
Oh God, that's a perfect point. I never thought about sober people pulling on a night out because I don't think I ever went out pulling before. But well, when I was going out on the pool and stuff like that, all my mates would be drunk, so there would never ever be a sober person anyway. Because at that time none of us had cars, so we were getting home public transport or a taxi anyway. Whereas now you would go out on a night out, and there wouldn't probably be a couple of people to be driving.
Yeah, especially at our age, a lot of people have like had damage with alcohol and they've quit for good reason, and so they should, and with the support of their friends, and they didn't want to feel like they can't come out with you and come drinking with you. I mean, just live and pull. I mean, it's weird if you pull a drunk girl.
yeah. God, it's really weird, isn't it? Like, the more I even think about it, it's getting worse and worse.
So calculated.
Oh God.
I think, what about sober at the strippers?
Oh no, God no.
Anna, a friend of mine that went out because people get addicted to strippers. Mm-hmm. It's weird that, like, I mean, it's not weird. It's like people are going to show you their boobs for a tenner. yeah. Perfectly.
It's perfectly normal.
I can absolutely rationalise it. It's not weird. But like, I find it weird that you can get addicted to it, right? Like, people like I like going to the strippers. Mm. I like chatting on to the lasses at the strippers, getting a dance, having a drink with our mates. It's a laugh, right? And go. Like, I like the strippers, right? Some people love the strippers. One of my mates. His wife sent him out to get a pizza, and while he was waiting for the pizza, to get cooked, he popped out over the road and Harry started dance.
Oh my
and come back and
God.
collect his pizza and went back to his family.
Jesus.
He had a dance.
I'll be-
He went out to collect pizza and come back stinking of perfume. And his wife just had to respect it. She's like, well, I was so good, but if you could get a shag in that
Oh
time.
my God. Because in that situation, like I wouldn't, if I was waiting for a pizza, I would go for a pint. Like if there was a pub nearby, I was just going to nip in there for a pint, and then I would never ever think to go in and get a dance.
Get a quick dance.
That is unbelievable.
There would be something too transactional about it as well, because normally, like, if you go out in the strip as you're there with a group of mates, it's a chat. You're normally there for a good 15 minutes before you even get your first dance. You know, I just walk in, just go, one dance, please. I want dance. Oh,
I'm on the clock here, so if you wouldn't mind hurrying this up.
You got a shorter track. You kind of dance to this meatloaf track. It's 7 minutes long. And all right, paying all that, but fucking come on, it's bad out of hell, guys.
Oh, that is...
Hey, you got the radio edit? Have you got the radio edit of this track? We've got dance faster. Put it on a different RPM.
So then you're dancing.
You got any scooter? Fucking scooter on. You fucking dancer's just giving it the beans.
Oh my God, that is one of the best stories I've ever heard. someone going to get a dance while they're waiting for a pizza.
I'll not name names, but I had a house of comics that lived with each other at the Fringe, and one of the comics went out every afternoon to say that he was doing some writing. And one day, the comic who told us the story went, "I'll come out and do a bit of writing with you. I'm going to hit a level we haven't been writing. Just been going to an afternoon dance."
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Oh, it's so grim. God.
Sloss hates the strippers.
Yeah, I don't imagine.
He's derogatory towards them. It's not.
Sloss hates women.
He's like, I just don't get it.
I can imagine Danny, because I've not even been that. I've been maybe 3 times in my entire life. I've been in. They've either been on stag do's or holidays.
I tell you, Mark, if I had £1 for every lap dance I've had, I'd spend it all on dances. I went to the strippers in Vegas, Danny, a couple of years back, and he left us there.
Did he?
He left us there because he was like we'd had a bit of a win the day before, so it wasn't like I was fucking dipping into my earnings from the tour to spend at the strippers, which are fine anyway. But I was like, it's free dances, so I was looking at it's free money. I would take money in Vegas, I leave it in Vegas, I walk away. I've had a free Vegas, right? And I was like, I can't at the strippers, and then I went to the strippers and I get a dance, and then I come back to my seat. And there's like a full drink.
He's fucked off.
There's a full drink and he's fucked off. And he was like, well, you wanted to get at the strippers, and once you were there and you were in and you were having a dance.
Oh my God, you can't ditch someone at the strippers.
I was high as fuck as well, man. I was stoned. It was afternoon, so it was the Tuesday shift, so there wasn't even that much atmosphere there. There was like, by the way, the strippers, even in Vegas, the strippers on the Tuesdays, like...
Well, see that
they're not the weekend premium.
That was going to be my point, like, because I would do it in Vegas because it's part of the Vegas experience. Because then suddenly you feel like you're in a 50 Cent video or something like that. It's not like the in Edinburgh, the pubic triangle.
It's 5 hour dance.
Yeah, where somebody comes round with a fucking.
Are you money laundering?
Yeah, I know. Something I've seen.
You can't even make rent with a £5.
Like, oh God, like I've heard pals that have been in there, and they said like someone comes round, like after a dance, one of them came round with like a pitcher, an empty pitcher, and guys were putting 50p's in,
coins
so it was clanking, and you're like,
glass.
Oh God, like. But Vegas, a different kettle of fish. That's
a different animal, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he dinged us there. He was like, I just didn't get it. He was like, it's simulation. It's not real. It's not happening. All that. I'm like, but you play FIFA.
Yeah.
Like, it's not really a football match that's happening.
I can see Danny's got quite a kind of analytical and dismissive mind, so I can see him. I can see what if I'd have picked someone of all of us that wouldn't have enjoyed it.
Yeah,
definitely him.
So,
whereas if I was to pick someone that would go. Well, he was waiting for a pizza.
Aye.
Tom.
Aye, Tom.
Even if he wasn't waiting for a pizza.
Aye. I mean,
Waiting
it's
for
Tom. He's waiting for a pizza.
In fact, they're making 9 pizzas, so I've got about 10 minutes.
They think he's going back to a party. He's going back alone. I'm fat shaming my friend. This is what's happening. See, this is how, like, say, Gav and Matty enjoy the strippers. They like the experience where the girl comes up and sits next to you, sits on your knee, pretends to be your friend, pretends that you're special, pretends that there's all these other guys in here, but I'm so glad you walk in. I feel like I can be myself with you. Use my real name. I'm not really called Ruby. Carl is Karen. they give up. Gav and Matty love the girls that give up their real name, talk about themselves a bit. And all
I love the way
right?
you picked Ruby as an exotic name. I'm not really called Ruby. Ruby, I didn't think you were called fucking Ruby because you're not a woman that fought in the 50s, for fuck's sake. Ruby.
You didn't make the munitions for the soldiers.
Ruby.
You weren't working in the factory where the men were at war.
This is my stripper, Nelly.
I was trying to think of a gemstone.
Ruby.
My name's Sylvia. My name isn't really Sylvia. It's not. I'll let you know something, love. My name's not really Doris. It's not really Doris. I'm actually a Sarah. I didn't pick a stripper's name for that analogy. Not all my bits work on this podcast. They're like the ones that like reveal a little bit about themselves, that like get to know them. They're like the girlfriend experience,
Right.
and then when the girl takes them for a dance, they feel like they've connected with that person, right? I look at it this way. You know, if I was walking down the street, right, and any girl went, "Yeah, for a tenner, I'll show you me funny," I'd be like, "Will you walk with us to the cash point?"
You take you're right to take a Scottish note, is that like?
It's just like, I'm curious to see people's bits.
See that the like I say, the lack of time I've had in them, but the chat beforehand, that's the worst. That'd be the worst bit for me. Because I'm not very good at small talk. I'm not very good at speaking to people I don't know.
I've got to go to a bit of chat where I just tell them that I'm really shy when I talk to girls. But I never play it. Like, I'm obviously not.
Yeah.
But I just say the words. I'm dead shy when I talk to girls. Like, I feel really bashful. That's me bit. Get that nervous now. So anyway, should we get the strippers after this?
1:05.
I tell you how much my life's changed from strippers. I was with Peggy. Peggy's a stripper name in my world.
Peggy.
I went to
my name's not actually Peggy. It's Crystal.
It's Misty. We took Peggy to puppy classes, like where this is a gear change. We took her to a church in Glasgow to have puppy classes, and it didn't really get on that well. You see how excitable she is when you come in. Mark. You know when he came in the door and she's fucking all at you.
Yeah.
Right. I'm on record on this podcast slagging off them kind of dogs.
Yeah.
So hard. It's really like. It's really karma that I ended up with a dog that'll go wild and squeaking and demand your love, and maybe standing there going, well, love me dog then. Aye. Love me dog the way I do. Yeah. Because I've literally set my stall out. Fucking karma come at me fucking hard with this dog. This dog loves people, loves other animals, loves kids, right? She's a fucking pest. Right? She pesters people, and then after a couple of minutes it fucking calms down, and you've seen how she is. Like, you've been here for a little bit now.
Yeah,
she's just lying on her back in the kitchen, fucking demanding her belly rub.
Yeah.
And she chills out, right? She's like, she listens to commands, and she's like got a good intelligence where she knows what all the words mean, and she knows what to do to get her treat and all that, right? But for that 5 minutes when she meets somebody, all bets are off. just fucking gone wild for 5 minutes, and I haven't really figured out yet how to settle it down. So we'll go into this class where everybody gets a little section of the church that's like kind of these like tents or barriers. That's your bit. There's your dog bowl. Put your blanket down there. That's where you're going to get them to settle. And they say 6 of them, maybe. So 6 of them taking up a portion of the church each, like miles from the other dogs. And so they're teaching their granny how to suck eggs. They're trying to get us to do sit, and they're trying to get us to do what's it? Just basic recall.
Yeah.
Right? Which I know Peggy can do, but only after that fucking first 5 minutes of meeting people. Right? And the whole time she's on the lead, trying to get the dog over there, trying to get the dog over there, trying to get the dog over there, just going, will you just fucking let us get to one of these dogs so I can settle down?
Aye.
And we can't make contact. We've all got our masks on and all that in this church, and she's just fucking gone bananas for these other dogs while I'm trying to get taught to do tricks that she can already do.
Yeah. That must be like walking a kid into Disneyland for her, though.
Aye.
Because when you present her with 5 other dogs and then 5 other strangers, she must be like, she wouldn't know what to go for first.
I just wanted to go, because some of the other dogs were the same. Some of them were less interested in the other dogs. The one opposite was just as bad as Peggy was. In fact, weirdly, Peggy was trying to get there playfully, and it looked like this was, I'm sure it was like just a poodle, right? I don't think it was a cross, and if it was like 90% poodle, but it was about like 5-6 times the size of Peggy, right? And it was just, it didn't look like it wanted to play. It looked like it was hungry. It was like it had a deeper voice. Yeah, it was a lot more like ruff. Yeah. So this dog wanted to eat my dog, and my dog wasn't getting the memo and just wanted to play with it. And part of us wanted to go, can we just let the dogs just fucking
5 minutes where
can we just have 5 minutes where they get to know each other, have a little bit of crack, but like let off some steam and then get back. I basically spent an hour just with Peggy just going fucking bananas on a lead. It was like fucking having a cat on a lead. Yeah, in this puppy.
And class. So do they like? Is it different the second time? Is it a little less?
I'm hoping that it's got a diminishing returns on how fucking like. I'm hoping that was just like because it's a 4-week course, and they were like, "Oh, get them to settle on the blanket by putting treats on the blanket." You don't even say settle; you just put the treats on. Every time they look at it, put another treat on. Every time they look at it, and I'm like, "Why on earth is she ever going to look at that blanket when there's fucking playmates?"
Exactly,
everywhere? There's playmates literally everywhere. So we just sat there, with fucking masks on, like. Peggy, knowing fine well she's not going to look back over her shoulder. Come, knowing fine well that, because this is the thing with treats, right? If you're meant to give them treats, is like this is the high value thing. You'll do anything for this thing, but if she wants to play with that dog, she wants to play with that dog more than she wants this treat.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So this treat means fucking jack shit. Well, I can put it right in front of her nose and she'll just like.
Yeah, because that's the treat now. That's
now. There's a higher value reward thing going on in the room. And it was like I was just like it was one of them moments where I was like, I've had this dog for a good few months now, and I feel like I've got any control over her. Yeah. But then when you see her in the house and all that, like she's grand. But that might just be puppy energy. I don't know. In the adolescent as well. I've got no idea. But it was one of them moments where I was just going like, I hope I haven't fucked up this dog. Like, I hope I haven't just got a badly trained dog.
Aye. But then surely that's the whole purpose of the lessons.
Yeah, aye. And we do training with that every single day, like three times a day for like 15 minutes.
Because I imagine, regardless of how excitable she was, she would have been the most mental dog that they've ever had. At the thing, or was it specifically mentioned she is the most mental dog that we have ever had at this thing?
I mean, like she was the most mental dog there,
right? Aye,
she was definitely the most mental dog there. But,
that must be quite embarrassing. Like it's like when my kids like kick off in the supermarket, like it's proper.
Yeah, I can imagine that if. Because it was just like that, but what's the worst thing your kids have done to embarrass you? Have they done anything where you're just like, they're not normally like this? Like,
nah, not too bad, because you can normally remove them from it, but you feel it's more of a kind of societal thing where you do generally feel, are people judging you as if is he trying to steal a child? Like, you know, when they're really going mental, and there could be times where they're not just like, it's not like the the stereotypical American film where they're on their back and hammering like that. They are properly screaming at you. No, leave me alone, leave me alone. And if you only heard that audio, you'd go, somebody's trying to steal that child.
Yeah.
So you do start to get a bit self-conscious that, is someone going to step in here and go, can I see some kind of identification to prove that that is actually your child? So,
fuck it. So, because people's mentality will be like, what if I'm right, not what if I'm wrong? Like, nobody's mentality is going to be like, oh, he's probably not stealing a kid.
Yeah.
Everyone will be like, I'll not sleep at night unless I fucking just keep an eye on this situation.
Yeah.
To somebody.
Yeah.
So the worst thing is the situation looking terrible.
Yeah. And I mean, it makes it worse the fact that I've got an erection the whole time as well. So
kissing them. I would say to Natalie, when the dog ran into the school when you were a kid, do you remember that? It fucking blew your mind.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh my God, the fucking dog's running into the school.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about it all day and class and everything.
Happened to my kids a couple of weeks ago. A dog went into the playground,
Then, like, a bit dodgy because they're like, nobody knows that dog isn't, like, it might not be well trained, it might be a bad dog. Fucking somebody could get hurt, but chances are it's just going to be exciting for everybody.
Yeah.
I've only ever looked at that situation from the point of view of the kid in the school, because that's like the only side of it I've been on. I would be fucking mortified if I just dropped the lead and Peggy ran into the school and I just have to walk into that schoolyard full of kids with me puppy. In the glass shattered.
Yeah.
And I'm just a 40-year-old man in my fucking waterproof fucking hiking gear. with a puppy and cavapoo. And all these kids getting dead excited about it. And then the teachers come out and I'm like, it's not how it looks.
Like you've essentially gone in with a fishing net and just like that and cast the dog out.
Because that's when I was talking to Natalie, but she was like, oh, that wouldn't even cross my mind at all. I'd be like dead excited about like the kids seeing Peggy, and I'd walk away with Peggy. It wouldn't cross my mind at all. And I was like, I think I've just discovered female privilege.
Yes.
That's female. Yeah. That is female privilege right there. Female privilege is you can go innocently into a schoolyard full of kids and show them your puppy on a level that it should be enjoyed at.
Yeah.
As a bloke, just look, as innocent as it is, just Devon do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I mean, the balance is still very much on us. Male privilege, higher wages, more respect, more power. But
I wasn't disputing
you get to go in there.
I wasn't putting a feather on the scales of justice. I wasn't putting a feather on the scales of justice and go, see, women have privilege.
We have
too.
achieved equality here.
Well, we've each got a weight in the scales. Aye. So that's been because not much time has passed since I last saw you, because you're going to the Isle of Arran with the family, so we're recording
next week.
We're recording Monday's podcast a week in advance, pretty much. So we've got it in the can. Which I want to talk about the islands in Scotland shortly as well. A couple of things that have happened since I last saw you is I found out that male dogs can ejaculate when they're leg humping.
There you go.
One of our listeners.
I knew it.
One of the listeners' dog humped their friend's jacket and left a spunk stain on it. That was still there very much to this day.
Nice.
So they're going, oh, there's Jazz's spunk on your jacket.
It's the fact that the dog's called Jazz, is it? Jazz.
Jazz, all the way jacket. I hope I haven't butchered your story the way you tell it. That's kind of Instagram. I will reply to you. I've got this really bad habit of reading things that people send us on Instagram and not replying. Right. Because the replying, like, it takes up a bit of time and, like, it also opens the conversation.
And you don't mean enough to them.
So I often just go, I'm just scanning my phone and, like, while I'm having a shit. But, like, I'm not, like, sitting doing for half an hour with my coffee to deal with my correspondence.
Reply to correspondence.
So I should have replied, but I have read your message. Also, my results come back from the dentist, and I showed you the time lapse.
Yeah,
video.
this was so cool.
It's so cool. I'm getting my teeth straightened with this. Like, it's not Invisalign. It's a company called CFast. So it's like the two stripe knockoff version. It's the knockoff, but they didn't pump as much money into marketing, so it's less expensive, but it does the exact same thing. these invisible braces. So you get these composites that get put on your teeth, which the Charlie told us, you get these composites on your teeth, and then you do the thing, and he's like, just a second, you know what composites are? And I was like, nah. And he was like, if there's anything that I'm saying that you don't know, like, just please ask him. Let us just talk gibberish to you.
Yeah.
Try and understand what I'm saying.
The fuck are these teeth thing you keep talking about?
So composites are these like kind of like millimeter by 1 millimeter things that they put them like what you would get with braces
Right, okay.
to your teeth.
Oh, the be tight? Yeah, I know what
And then
you
you
mean,
get these like invisible gum shields that like click to it, and you'll get like a sequence of them over the course of like 20 weeks or whatever. Where you replace them and they'll be slightly different shape and it pulls them out. But what they do give you is like a visual, like 3D rotation of your jaw. And you can press play and it'll do like a time lapse of the 20 weeks of your teeth straightening up. And how fucking good is it to watch?
It's amazing.
How rewarding it is.
Proper addictive to watch as well.
It's cathartic, isn't
yeah.
it? I've watched it about 100 times. I'm like, if anybody ever gets one of them like videos, please send us the link.
Yeah.
I think that's like my new fucking kink now.
Yeah.
I just want to watch people's teeth straightening up and time lapse.
So they like,
I kind of get hard with it.
and am I right in telling me you get these sent through the post? Like each of the clear braces,
Aye,
they'll get sent through. That's
I believe so.
unbelievable,
Isn't
man.
that great? That's class.
Changed days.
It is. It's changed days. I was chatting to Gav, but he was like, we're going to be this Benjamin Button generation where like you fucking just sort yourself out, get yourself fixed.
Yeah.
And it actually put us on I found that Bill Burr link and sent it to Gav. Have you seen the Bill Burr 4-minute bit about plastic surgery? About the first ones over the trenches getting it done.
Oh god.
Oh my god. He was like, he says he saw like a guy that had like hair surgery and he looked great and he's waffing his hair around and all that, and he's like, I wish I got this done 10 years ago. And he's like, no you don't. Where they just get you in a headlock and staple legs to your head. I kind of do impressions. Can just Google Bill Burr plastic surgery or Bill Burr hair transplant.
Yeah.
It's fucking one of the greatest bits. He just, because the bit, one of the bits that got us the most, because you know how he does act outs and stuff, right? He sends someone away with their fucking face done, right? It's like he's the surgeon, and then he turns around and he goes, what did we do wrong? We followed every step. I thought we'd done it perfectly. We made it. Oh, sorry, here's your keys, sir. And he had in the bit, he had the person come back into the surgery
amazing.
while the surgeons were fucking talking about the disaster they've just made of the guy's
brilliant.
face.
Because I get braces like that. My teeth were worse than they were when I was younger. Yeah, I used to, because I was born right with
Teeth.
Yeah, I was born with teeth. Because I've got an overbite, right? And I was born with my jaw like way back here. Right?
So you've had work done on the overbite.
So the braces I had to like, cause a lot of people's my front teeth are actually quite straight. They're big. They're quite straight and they go straight down, whereas a lot of people's like protrude outwards.
Yeah.
So their braces are to bring them back in.
Yeah.
You know, like you've got a tooth that's twisted.
Yeah.
That was to do it, to bring back in. My brace was to pull my jaw forward.
So did you have one of them that comes out of your face?
No, it wasn't attached to it, but it was something I could take it in and out.
I've never seen one of them in real life.
No.
I've only seen them in like South Park and
Yeah. No, this was a big thing that I could. It wasn't like train tracks. It wasn't fixed to my teeth, but it was a big, massive thing that I used to be able to. I would wear all day, and then I would take it out to eat, and I would take it out when I was sleeping, and it was basically forced the jaw forward so that, like, 'cause I couldn't used to be able to touch my bottom teeth and my front teeth.
Aye.
So, but then the way you would do it is you used to get impressions, right? And what it was they'd fill up these gum shields with pink sludge. It was like modelling clay.
This is what I had done.
Yeah, so they still do that.
Yeah,
and they sloosh it down onto your, and then it waits there until it hards, and then and then it slooks it back up.
Yeah,
it's disgusting. Like it makes you like. There's so many times I gagged when I was doing it because there's a lot of shit in it.
This is you find out you kind of took a dick if you tried.
Yeah.
This is you realising how bad the COVID tests are going to be in the future.
So do they still do the wee hot bit of wax where they heat up a bit of wax, and then it's like pink wax, and then they put it. And you bite down on it, and that gives your impressions of the top of your
even
teeth.
though I just got it done recently, I don't know if I've suppressed the memory, but now I think he held it in.
Yeah.
He held in a thing.
I mean, it's cool the sound it makes when it takes off because it is a
I don't think it was
squelch.
hot wax though. It was more like a putty.
See, I thought I think it was. I mean, it'd be a lot more advanced now, but I didn't realise that. I thought it was all computerised. Like I thought they would just take photos of your.
Oh, they did take X-rays as well.
Yeah.
They took like X-rays and then they got the impressions and they fucking sent it all over to this lab and then like about a month later, I got it done towards the end of December. I got it at the beginning of January.
Because I remember that when we did the
Middle of
boxing, and you had to buy a gum shield.
Aye.
First of all, I didn't know. I thought I'd have to send off for a gum shield, but then I was kind of searching about and I was like, like JD Sports,
just get them anywhere.
We'll do a gum shield. But then I didn't realise, well, is it there's a standard gum shield, but it is a thing you put in boiling hot water.
I fucked me gums the first time I did one. I joined Ashton Thirds rugby club and I'd never wore a gum shield before and you needed one for the rugby. I don't know if you need one, but recommended. And I took it straight out of the kettle water, when you put it in the boiling water.
And then straight into me.
Oh,
it just scalded your gut.
Sucked them in, and I was just like, I just thought like you just had to brace the pain, like a tattoo. And I was just like, oh fuck, this is fucking hard. And gums were bleeding and all that. Burnt me gums.
Oh god, you still got your gum shield from the?
I've got a different one because I've been through a few. I trained for quite a bit as well after the boxing. So I've got one upstairs. I don't know how hygienic it is to put one back in when you haven't used it for a year.
Well, it's just been under your bed getting kicked about the floor.
It's literally in my fucking white-eye bag, which I haven't used any of my kits since I moved from London.
Aye, that'll be disgusting.
It'll be fucking rank. It's probably like fucking fruit trees growing out of it and that. Figs. You're ringing.
Oh, am I ringing?
You've got kids, you should answer that.
That's an unknown number. It's fine.
Unknown number.
Aye.
Just let it run.
Sorry, man.
It's alright. Because last time that happened on the podcast when you guested on it, you ended up having to pick Seamus up from school.
Yeah.
Battered one of the teachers.
Yeah, he'd taken his gun to school and shot the classroom. Kids will be kids, man. kids will be kids. You just gotta, he'll be fine. He'll be alright as long as he doesn't go any further. Shoot at real people. So that's what happened since I saw you. I got my teeth results back, and I took Peppy to puppy class. Peppy, I keep calling me Peppy.
My granddad's old dog was called Peppy.
That's a cool name for a dog.
Yeah, good Peppy.
Gives it a bit of mysteriousness. Peppy. Hey, Peppy.
Peppy Le Pew, which does not stand the test of time.
No.
No, siree. I feel like I keep. It's like if I call Natalie by my ex's name, I feel like I keep doing that. I keep doing that to my dog. And I'm just like,
your ex was called Peppy as well.
Same person. Look, I used to get out with my granddad's dog. So I've had all that action. You've been kicking about with Les Dennis.
I did Les Dennis in the radio show that I host, which is weird. He's a lovely guy. Really nice.
Shout out the radio show. Can they watch it? Can they listen?
Yeah, it's on the BBC Sounds app. It's called The Good, the Bad and the Unexpected, and it's like a kind of cross between a chat show and a panel show that I do every week. And you've been on it a couple of times.
I love it.
And it's because lockdown happened. We used to do it in front of an audience, live audience, and then when
like
lockdown
stand or something.
Yeah. And when lockdown happened, obviously we couldn't be in venues, so we were doing it online. And online opens you up to a range of guests that you would never have had before because you don't have to pay.
They don't have to leave the house.
Yeah, they're so more willing to do it because it'll take 2 hours out of their day and they can sit in their kitchen or in their bedroom and do it. You don't need to pay for transport. You don't need to pay for hotel rooms. So the show saves money and stuff like that. So it opens you up to this. And
so just to let American listeners know, the Les Dennis is the guy who does our Family Fortunes.
Oh yeah, Family Feud is what the Family Feud
is.
Yeah, what Steve. God, what's his name? He was the guy that fucked up the Miss World announcement.
I don't know about this.
Do you not know this?
No.
What's his name? Matt, I don't have any signal on my phone, but the Steve something, and he was announcing it was either Miss America or the Miss World, and he basically said like the winner is Miss Venezuela.
Miss Dynamite.
And she goes up so chuffed, and then he can read it.
Psych, bitch.
He'd read the card wrong, going, no, actually, it's Miss Columbia. And so she's sitting back like this, not knowing. And then the sheer devastation in Miss Venezuela's face, because a guy came up and had to take the crown off her. And then it's like, it's so bad.
Imagine usurping Miss World.
Yeah. He was a comedian as well. I can't remember the guy's name.
Is he a comic too?
Yeah, he was a comic, nice. Yeah. And so yeah, we now are able to get these guests, and it started off we would get like high profile British comedians that we would normally have not been able to get, and now it's gone into actual like proper
like
fucking celebrities,
TV personality, like game show hosts.
Yeah, so we've started getting people that have cool stories,
radio DJs, like
so we've had. I mean, we had Tony Hadley is the lead singer of Spandau Ballet on.
Mint.
We had Eddie the Eagle Edwards on, which was class.
I've skied with him.
Have you? Because he was talking about...
I was bored.
He was talking about altitude, actually, when he was on. And the best one, we had Don McLean, who wrote and sang American Pie.
Mint.
And... like when the producer texts me,
did he ask him how he felt about Tyson Fury?
Oh God, I didn't even know. We talked about the Madonna cover.
It was when Tyson Fury went into the second verse, like everyone was singing along with him after the one other fight.
Yeah.
And everyone was singing along with him, and then he was like verse 2, and you're like, is he gonna do the whole song?
He's gonna do a whole 9-minute song here. But yeah, he was that was one of the most surreal experiences that I've ever had in my life. Because he didn't really have a clue what was going on. He's this millionaire, I mean multi-millionaire American artist who's had like drug addled to fuck 70s, and then is just like going on tour again, and he thought it was like a promo thing. That he thought it was going to be like one of those junkets where you just do loads of interviews, and suddenly he's playing this panel show.
And he's got like pre-prepared. You've got to have pre-prepared stuff for that.
Yeah,
you get given like a heads up on what the questions are going to be.
So, and we only had him for an hour. So the producer was like, get as much as you possibly can out of him from her. Ask him about American Pie. Ask him about what it's about. Ask him how much money he's made from it. So I'm shoehorning shit in. He can't really understand me. To the point where the producer, who is Scottish but grew up in Croydon and has an English accent, came on at the end and went, thanks very much for that, Don. And he went, oh, I can understand you now. And he went, yeah, that's because I'm not Mark. So he was like, he didn't understand a fucking word I said the whole time. And then
the producer come in from the gods.
Yeah.
And he was like,
like as if some kind of translation app had just been put on to translate the Scottish accent.
He put in the Babel fish in his ear.
yeah. And he sang halfway through because Shappy Kersandi was on it as well.
Great. And how's she doing? I haven't seen her in a while.
She's grand, aye. Halfway through, they're talking. I think it was her or Jane McGarry, who was also as a Scottish actress. Were doing their story, and suddenly Don McLean out of nowhere just goes, "Mark, I want to sing you a song." Right? Yes. And I was like, "All right." And he just improvised this song. Like I was being serenaded.
Is this on the radio?
This is on the radio.
People can listen to this.
I got serenaded by the guy that wrote American Pie.
Nice.
It's honestly surreal.
That's amazing.
Great fun, but surreal.
Fucking unreal. Right, we're wrapping up this podcast now. We'll do some dad jokes, but that's if everybody's still got fucking stuff to do and your podcast's come to an end. Go straight on to BBC Sounds and get that.
For American listeners, we had the lead singer of the Spin Doctors. Is an American guy called Chris Barron. The Spin Doctors are still pretty big over there, do reunion tours and all that kind of shit. So he was awesome. He was the first episode of this series, I think. So that'll be up there.
Oh, ass.
Right.
Hit us.
Right, let me 2 seconds. I'll get him in the notes.
I've still got my notes. If anybody's listening and you're not a patron, we've done an episode just before we recorded this one, so it'll be up now. You'll be able to get it now on Patreon. We've done a telling each other stuff we might not know. So we just went into the depths of the internet and tried to find out shit that would be bringing to the table. Did you know this? And we've done an hour of just sharing shit that we thought the other one might not know. It was a fun podcast. You can get that now over on Patreon for just £3.
Right, Guy. Your dad got his nipple pierced on holiday once. The holiday was in Blackpool.
My dad used to go on holidays to Blackpool. He did. They'd all get the buses there, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
All the fucking factory workers and all that would go trips away to Blackpool. When your dad gets out of the bath, he uses anti-wrinkle cream on his pruned fingers.
Your dad's party trick is farting the whole of Hot in Here by Nelly.
Your dad once laid an egg and when it hatched it was you.
Your dad eats pizzas from the inside out.
That's what you meant to do.
No.
You take a slice of it.
Fuck, so you did.
I was laughing away and I was like...
I was thinking like it was like a circle and you would start with a knife and fork. I didn't explain that one particularly well.
Your dad has a blowhole on the top of his head. like a whale. And he blows tea out of it after every swig.
Right, this is the last one I've got.
I've only got one more as well.
Your dad still has a favourite page 3 girl. It was Becky, 19 from Skegness. She's dead now.
Old age. Old age, Connor. Your dad uses the water from his boiled eggs to make his coffee. Right, and we're out. Thanks for that, Mark.
Cheers.
I'll see you all on Thursday. Enjoy the Isle Arran with the family. And I wanted to ask you about the islands because I've been living up in Scotland for like a year.
We'll talk about
I haven't been out any of them. So let's talk all about it.
Talk about it next
week.
week. Aye,
Right,
cool.
champion. See you then.